I can tell you that. Pat McAfee actually said a really interesting statistic that you probably saw because you watched them too. But the Jaguars have won, what, 3 AFC championships with three
Yeah,
different.
division titles,
I'm sorry. Yeah, they've won the AFC South 3 times with three
3
different
different
coaches.
coaches. Yeah,
Yep. And we've won it 0 times with
the same.
whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah. If that's not enough to fire your GM, I mean, Irsay, Jim Irsay should have fired him last year. And the fact that, I don't know if you watched his interview at all or his press conference. He had a press conference where he was talking about the year. That was the most lackadaisical, just disappointing, press conference. He came out and he's like, well, Carly asked me, have I lost my moxie, my mojo? Well, and he kind of haphazardly answered it. And it's like, dude, you don't even sound all into me. You sure you want to be here? Like, he's like, yeah, I mean, what I took from it was I'll run it back. We'll see. Let's give it another year. That might be my last year. Like, it didn't sound like somebody with a fire under their ass that wanted to turn the ship around.
Yeah, he was
Sounded like
buddy
somebody
buddy with
milking the
Jim.
job.
Jim was keeping him there. That's why I thought for sure he'd get fired this year because, you don't have Jim on your back now. But it's got to be like a 1 more year deal, and then they got to make changes. I can't imagine
It's got to be.
forever. It's not like in the Steelers case where like you've been consistently like pretty good and just not getting over the hump. They're in a weak division and they're not. I mean, they're just failing at the end of the year. You know more than anybody being a Colts fan, but I mean, I don't know how many times they've lost the last week or the last 2 weeks to get into the playoffs. How many years in a row? They were up there in rankings and then just faltered.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the story of us, right? I think it's coaching. I think it's locker room culture. And I don't think Ballard is involved in it. Okay, I don't have a problem with Carly Ursay being down the field taking notes. I don't, right? A lot of people have a lot to say about it. I don't have an issue with it. Here's my issue. My issue is, where the hell's Ballard, right? You've got Steichen doing the coaching, and you've got Carly Ursay down on the field taking notes and involved. What the hell's Ballard doing? It's like he's sitting back on the couch, drinking beer and eating popcorn and just hoping this thing's going to autocorrect itself. I mean, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah,
You see what I mean?
don't know. He's not doing his job, in my opinion, but I'm not.
Yeah, he's not engaged, right? I mean, typically, it would make sense to see him and then Ballard on the field. You don't see Steichen and Ballard on the field. You see Steichen and Ursay, Carly Ursay, which tells me she has a little bit of a lack of confidence. She's got to be down there. She's got to be aware, which means she doesn't trust her GM to handle it. Why is he coming back?
I have no answer for you.
Nobody does.
I mean, unless like, it was Carly or somebody else that wasn't him that really had the last say on the whole Sauce deal. And like that, because to me, that was like the only mistake he made they made this year was the picks. I mean, you can't, to me, like we just talked about, they haven't done anything in like 9-10 years, but you can't fault him for the Daniel Jones injury, which was the initial, like what caused, the domino blocks start to fall. But the Sauce trade and dealing those picks was definitely a mistake. So if maybe he wasn't the final, I don't know. Like that's the fireable offense to me this year is that deal.
I mean, I disagree. I don't think the fireable offense is the Sauce deal because, look, Sauce doesn't injure his calf and he plays the whole year, and Jones doesn't get injured and plays the whole year. And we're looking at the playoffs right now. We could be having a conversation like that was the most ballsy, greatest decision ever.
Yeah, if it works.
I think. Yeah, well, I mean, injuries kind of screw up the judgment there, but I think the fireable offense here is you did have adversity and you didn't do a damn thing about it. You faced adversity and you lost almost every game after that, except the last team we beat was the Falcons in Berlin. Yeah,
well,
so
to me,
it's
that's
just
coaching. That's not on the GM. That's on coaching, keeping people motivated.
So the way I look at it is, as far along as we've been, coaching, I would blame coaching for 2 games. After that, the GM needs to grab the coach and say, hey, enough with the shit. What's going on? Right? That's where the GM part comes in.